Content marketing is very much about creating content that's going to be engaging and interesting and relevant to the audience.
So they used to think about, presenting an advert in front of a user. If they could get a sale, then fantastic. Whereas now with digital, it's much more an engagement piece. It may be lots of small interventions over a period of time, which I think is much more exciting and more interesting for marketeers. It's potentially a more intellectual challenge than just coming up with a big piece of advertising that's going to grab people's attention. But actually, you can see results and you can measure the results much more effectively.
And I think what we know is that when consumers share content from a brand, it's because it reflects on themselves. So you know yourself that you won't share a piece of content if you don't think it's particularly interesting or relevant or engaging. You'll only share something that's really, really useful and also really, really useful to your network of contacts within your social spaces.
The thing that excites me most about digital marketing is it's become much more front and centre. So in the past it was very much a sideline to traditional marketing, and now people are realising that actually they can get an awful lot more value out of their spend by either integrating digital with traditional or moving entirely to digital. So I think all the opportunities that digital provide have just radically changed the way marketeers think.
The area that really excites us, being able to migrate from an offline magazine to being much more digitally focused, being able to deliver digital content to the customers, the right content, the content they want to see, and being up to date.
What social has done is really changed the way in which customers can interact and engage with brands.
Typical, social, Twitter and Facebook are very hard to quantify the business benefits, but certainly blog as a medium for delivering a different tone of voice for an organisation, stepping outside of corporate tone of voice and having something that's a little bit more friendly.
So it's really about getting the individual personalities out onto the fore of the site, rather than it being about a company and a marketing department writing it strategically on a content level.
And also we found very quickly that being able to centralise how we deal with social media lets us put both thought leadership and good news stories out in a much more effective way.
When you generate social content and content marketing strategies, you generate content that really taps into a customer need, taps into a customer motivation, and you appreciate that content is going to be something that's going to be dissipated and shared throughout the network organically. There's so much social content being created. Now consumers control the message about brands. So now customer advocacy is your biggest sales channel.
There's that conversation that you might have in a bar with somebody that you've just met. You don't suddenly try and sell them something. You start to build up a conversation to begin with. You identify something that might be of interest to that person, and then you start from there. Later on you can then sell, and the sell is a lot easier, and you'll get much higher conversion. But it starts off with a very sort of relevant communication with customers, which is based around content on interest.
What people generally do is tend to silo everything. So you have your digital department and they work on the digital side of things, or your marketing department, whoever's doing that, and they're not involving anybody else. So if only one department is taking care of everything there, then it's never going to work. It has to be something that is through the business, and I think that's the big thing that people are starting to realise.
Technology is no longer the challenge, it's organisationally, how do we actually adapt our organisations to benefit from the technologies and tools like Sitecore now offer us.